A while ago, HellCastle and Tylerrrr made the video beating every boss in HellCastle SKYBLOCK with the cheapest gear possible. Since that video's release, there have been dozens of updates and major meta shifts, so I thought, why not try and see just how cheap I can get these setups with today's meta and the power creep that comes with it. For convenience sake, I'll be using the same rules that they had in their challenge. All bosses must be solo, try my best to use the cheapest possible gear at all times, and I'm able to keep my talismans and god pot, along with everything else on my profile, such as skills. This is going to be part of a potentially 2 to 3 part series, and in this video, I'm going to be doing the tier 5 Rev, T4 Spider, Tarantula, E-Man, and Blaze Slayer. But in the future, I plan on doing the rest of the bosses, including dungeons and their master mode counterparts. Let's start with the Revenant Horror. Originally, I tried to go as cheap as I possibly could, so I got myself a zombie soldier cutlass and no armor or other gear just to test the waters. I beat the T4 Rev with extreme ease, showing just how much stronger we've gotten since that test that HellCastle did, coming up to a total setup cost of 10k coins to their 200,000. After that absolute beatdown, I felt sure that I could do a T5 Rev, so I went straight into that. Here's how it went. And holy shit was I wrong. The Rev clowned on me more than the dungeon community clowns on One Wolves Gaming. Quite clearly, an upgrade was necessary. So I went to the auction house and dropped another 20k on 1/2 skeleton soldier, tripling my setup cost to 30k coins. I went to do another attempt, and just like before, I barely did a dent in the health of the Rev, and I died. After failing again, I decided that it would not be enough, and a major upgrade to my stats would be necessary. So I did this by getting an Earth Shard. I also decided that it was time to get a pet as well. So I went for the cheapest pet that would give me combat stats, which ended up being a level 40 rare Enderman. After putting some basic enchants on my Earth Shard, I was able to do double my previous damage, which in combination of the basically free slime hat giving knockback immunity, allowed me to kill the boss easily. The setup cost for this cost me 77.5 thousand coins, which is drastically lower than the 2.4 million that HellCastle ended up using. The result honestly shocked me just how much better stats were 2 years later. I then jumped right into Terror and Wolf Slayers, easily killing them naked with just a zombie soldier cutlass, putting a setup cost at 10k for both of them. The next boss we did was E-Man Slayer. After a bit of brainstorming, I decided to go for a Void Edge katana, so I quickly crafted one of them. Putting a couple of basic enchants on it, in total, the Void Edge cost me 800k. I then bought base tier Crimson Armor and put Ancient Reforge on all of it, totaling to 4.7 million coins. For the hits phase, I bought myself an artisanal sharpbow and an aspect of the end for general utility, costing me 261,000 coins. For healing, I crafted myself a wand of mending, costing me 100,000 coins. Then, equipment, I got Ender necklace and cloak, along with the black belt, and a molten bracelet, costing me 600,000 coins. Surprisingly, in my first attempt with this budget setup, I easily killed the tier 4 Voidgloom, not even losing a heart throughout the whole thing. Nah, I'm just joking. I absolutely got smoked. I got beat harder than Asian parents beat their kids after coming home with an A instead of an A+. In a last-ditch effort to salvage the setup, I got myself an endstone sword, to gain the 50% damage reduction on its ability use. It wasn't even close to enough. After a couple of attempts of getting nowhere, I decided it was time for a big change. Enter Mastiff Armor. If you've been playing dungeons lately, you might have noticed that after you leave dungeons, you keep any absorption that you might have gained from the healer class. Why? I don't know, it's probably bugged. Now, Mastiff Wishing has been a strat inside of dungeons for a while now, allowing people to get hundreds of thousands of health, while still benefiting from the stats of their normal armor. This Mastiff Wish technique, combined with absorption staying after leaving dungeons, makes doing a challenge like this a whole lot more easy. So I bought myself a Mastiff set, entered a dungeon, and pressed Q. Suddenly, my EHP out of dungeons jumped from 30k to almost 600,000. And with this 600,000 EHP, surely I would be able to survive. Until... yeah, all of my absorption hearts were gone before I even made it to the second hits phase. So I quickly crafted my Void Edge to a Vorpal, along with putting the Fabled Reforge onto it, costing me a solid 5 million coins. And even still, when I went to kill the boss, my absorption ran out before I was even halfway through. The only solution to this? Get even more health. Now, before, when I was getting absorption, I entered the dungeon, then instantly wished, giving me as much health as possible. But if I wanted to get the most health possible, I would have to clear a full dungeon to get all of the buffs and use Mastiff Wish then, while holding a dungeonized sword with a suspicious reforge. So I got myself a zombie soldier cutlass, 5-starred it, and put suspicious on it, costing me 500k, and went to go do just that. From these small changes, my EHP skyrocketed from 600,000 to 1.66 million. After spamming left click, running to beacons, and staring at heads for 2 minutes, the boss was finally slain, with the total setup cost coming to 19,314,000, just shy of 20 million coins. And that left Blaze Slayer. Originally, the plan was to use the same Mastiff Wish technique, with the Blaze Daggers and a Wither Cloak for Fire Pillars, rather than Vorpal and Endstone Sword. But the absorption ran out basically instantly. Honestly, I was stumped. Nothing we did seemed to change it, such as getting Vanquished equipment, or more healing, or a Power Orb, or Sorrow Pieces. Nothing seemed to change anything. The health just wasn't there. Until my favorite person of sheer stupidity, Milord, said,
"Why won't you just use a cheap tuxedo?"
And that changed everything. Basically, if you didn't know, Blaze Slayer goes off this formula. 100 true damage plus % damage of your max HP, going from 20% off spawn to 50% at the end of the boss. So basically, capping your health to 75 with cheap tux will make the blaze go from 2000 damage per hit in the final phase to 150, basically giving you 15 times more effective health. And since I was using for absorption to tank the boss rather than my actual health, cheap tux just made me invincible. So one fully cleared dungeon, a lot of left clicking, and a couple of Wither Cloaks later, I killed the tier 4 Inferno Demon Lord with tier 1 dagger and a tier 2 dagger, cheap tux, and a slime hat. The total setup cost for this was 20,268,000 coins. Honestly, shout out to that Enderman who was the only pet I used this entire time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and peace.